And after all, I was getting paid overtime. Still, the thought of having to work late in the office always stirred up dread in me. Who was going to take care of Tammy? People don't understand what it's like being a single mother, least of all my boss. The corporate world can be so unforgiving. It was nearing 8:30 and everyone else had gone home for the night. For a while, I'd been trying to make out February's numbers, but to no avail. I found myself staring vacantly at my monitor when a squeaking sound broke me out of my daydream. I peeked my head outside my office door, and just then, the sound stopped. It was a cleaning cart quite a way down the hall. A man was crouching on the other side of it, so I couldn't really make him out, but it looked like he was wearing a Navy uniform. Well, at least I'm not the only one here tonight, I whispered consolingly to myself as I shut the door and sat back down. I could never have guessed how much I'd come to regret those words. Just a few moments later, there was a loud knock at my door. No, not even a knock. More like a banging. I jumped in my chair, looking back over my shoulder. I hesitated, then got up and opened it. To my astonishment, nobody was there. Down the hall, the cleaning cart stood where I last saw it, but the janitor had gone. Maybe he needed something but changed his mind, I thought. I didn't appreciate the interruption, especially when I needed to concentrate on getting my work done as fast as possible. The next 30 minutes raced by. My spreadsheet was almost finished, and I grew more excited at the thought of going home soon. Suddenly, there was another loud bang on my door. Only this time, it was more ferocious, almost as if someone were trying to break it down. My head instinctively snapped back toward the door, and my mouth hung open as I slowly stood up. What the hell was going on? Who is it? I said in as brave a voice as I could. My office didn't have any windows looking into the hall, so I had no way of knowing who was out there. Then, without warning, the banging ceased altogether. I lingered in the middle of the room, unsure of what to do next. Hesitantly, I set my ear up against the door. It was so quiet. You could practically hear the silence. I cracked the door open just enough to catch a glimpse of the cleaning cart down the hall. That's when something caught my eye on the ground just outside my office. A small white card, the size of a business card, lay there, right in the middle of the floor. It hadn't been there before. I looked nervously both ways and knelt down for it. The backside was facing up. Turning it over, I grabbed my chest in sheer horror and disgust. The front side was a cartoon depicting a fat pig being skewered. The pig wore a blonde wig, black framed glasses, and magenta lipstick, an uncanny resemblance to me. I dropped the card and sprinted back to my desk for my things. The stairwell door was right beside my office, so that's what I went for first. At that point, I didn't care if I had to walk down 10 flights of stairs. I just wanted to get the hell out of there. But someone had locked the stairwell door. I drove my body into the metal handle and pushed and pulled desperately. When it didn't budge, I realized I'd have to make a run for it to the elevator, which I'd have to go through the entire office to get to. Just then, a whistling pierced the silence. It was "Isn't She Lovely" by Stevie Wonder. But where was it coming from? He could be hiding in 100 different places in the office, and I had no way of knowing where. but just hearing the whistling was enough to drive chills down my arms and neck. I stood frozen at the stairwell door for a few moments in abject terror. The whistling paused, and with that, an inexplicable, fiery courage welled up inside me. I dashed down the dimly lit hall, looking straight ahead and trying not to guess where he might be hiding. The cleaning cart was right in the middle of the hall, which caused me to crash into it as I sped by. But that didn't stop me, not in the least. I rounded the corner and the elevator lobby came into view. I could see the gilded elevator doors and the button panels on the wall. A fresh wave of hope washed over me, easing my fear. I didn't see the clear cleaning detergent spilled about all over the floor. The instant I stepped out into the lobby, I fell forward violently and tumbled into the puddle. Lying on my back, I moaned in pain, my eyesight turning hazy. How long did I lay there? It couldn't have been long, not more than a minute or two. Suddenly, the squeaking wheels of the cleaning cart echoed from somewhere in the office, and in desperation, I screamed for help. I rolled over, clawing for the buttons on the wall, but I couldn't reach them. Then one of the elevator doors sprung open, and a middle-aged woman wearing an apron standing behind a cleaning cart appeared, looking down at me with wide eyes. I crawled into the elevator and begged her to go down. She pressed the button to the ground floor, and the doors slammed shut. As they were closing, I caught a glimpse through the glass doors of the elevator lobby, and there stood a figure in the shadows, dressed in a navy uniform. I really should read the news more. In the subsequent days, I learned about a string of murders around the city that happened over the past 6 months. The victims were all women around my age who worked in banking and finance. But most chilling of all, at each crime scene, police found a white card of a pig resembling the victims being skewered.